Mike, turn your games down.
Hi, everybody. We're at episode 259 of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who's singing This Is Halloween, This Is Halloween. I hate this game with me tonight.
This is Joe Butler and Soul Grabber. Soul Grabber.
This is Dominic Chichocki of the famous Kingdom Hearts Brigade. Back again, because I could not get enough of this monotonous, repetitive fucking music.
That's what mute is for.
And it's Milk, and I'm back, and this is a safe space, and I know it is, and that will help me get through this with y'all.
So we are bringing you a Christmas game, as I do every year, because you will hear this close to Christmas depending on when you listen to it, but it will release close to Christmas, close to this episode before Christmas. We're here to talk about The Nightmare Before Christmas, Oogies Revenge, which came out on PS2 and Xbox, developed by Toes, published by Capcom, which is very, very true. You can see that. Came out in America at least in 2005 and Japan 2004. Wow. Okay.
Okay, 2005 tracks then.
Yeah, because I think it's just funny that it came out in Japan October 21st, 2004, and they sat on it for a year because they wouldn't be able to get it translated in time, probably, and then released it September 29th, 2005, because, you don't want to release this not during the holidays.
Yeah.
Well, they developed the Xbox port, too, because that never made it in Japan.
Oh, yeah, that was just Europe and North America in 2005.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, we're talking about Tosei being a weird ghost developer of sorts. They're infamous for developing a lot of games, but never being really credited as such.
Oh.
Like that's how they work by design, I guess.
Okay.
So this is one of the games that actually credits them in some way with like the logo and the credits, but doesn't really dive deep into like these are the people from the company that worked on the game. It just is like Capcom taking the credit. So you'd think, hey, they made Devil May Cry 1, 2, and probably 3 around the same time as this one.
Oh.
3 is right, I think right after this game. I think. Or no, wait. This is 2000. God, when did Devil May Cry 3? If only I had the ability to type in things into a computer and answers pop out in front of me. 2005.
Damn it. You beat me to it. That was awesome.
Yeah, February 17th, 2005. So it already would have been out at the time that you get this.
Right,
This was developed.
the thing to remember though is that was made internally by Capcom. This is made in partnership with Capcom, but Tosei is not Capcom. And I think that is the main difference here.
One of the other weird things too is that this 2005, so that would have been roughly. It sounds bad, but this is roughly my middle school year, and I remember very specifically. I think the movie was re-released into like high definition. And there was like a big surge of just like Nightmare Before Christmas stuff.
That tracks.
That surge never ended, by the way.
It never did end. Yeah, no, it's constantly going now. But we got the movie back in theaters. Like they were re-releasing it in theaters, like full high definition. I think was Blu-ray out. I want to say maybe it came out for Blu-ray too, and people were freaking out.
Soon.
But we also got actual tons of merchandise. Hot Topic was popular, so Hot Topic was carrying God knows what. And then we also got this, and we got a Game Boy Advance game that's Metroidvania.
Yes.
And it was in Kingdom Hearts before.
And it was in Kingdom Hearts.
Mm-hmm.
And Kingdom Hearts 2. Is 2 out yet?
2005. Oh, God damn it.
2005 makes sense. Let's go with yes.
I don't think it was. Let's double check.
Kingdom Hearts
Chain of Memories was out.
Yeah, Chain of Memories was out.
2006 is for us, Kingdom Hearts 2, March 28th. Japan, 2005, December. So neither one, no.
Okay.
So, yeah. I mean, this is a sequel to the movie, essentially, which is also weird.
It's so... everything upsets me about this, and it's really hard.
So, as I've said on this podcast before, and I'll say it again, I am not a fan of the movie Nightmare Before Christmas. You can go hear my review. And, I just don't like that movie. I think it's creepy. I think it's a horror movie. It just unsettles me. And now I really hate the fucking song. I hate This Is Halloween, because the thing is, when you play this game, as we've said, Devil May Cry clone, it plays like a Devil May Cry. You constantly, every time you get into a fight, you hear, "This is Halloween, this is Halloween." And it's cool the first couple times, but hours into this game, you're just like, "I hate Halloween, I hate Halloween, ha, 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 ha. You're making me go insane." It's just too much.
Well, not even that. It's whenever there's a combat encounter, they just do the Halloween, and then it starts, and it's just like, oh my God, no.
I'd rather just have instrumental. I'd rather have the instrumental version of it. I would have been okay with that. I don't need to hear lyrics.
That's perfectly. I'm trying to remember. Doesn't Kingdom Hearts do that?
Yes.
I don't know how this got so. I mean, I think it was just them making a game. I think that's probably a good guess of how this all happened. Is, hey, we're making this game. It's been made. It's done. I don't think I'm sure they were proud of their work in at least a lot of ways. But holy fuck, there's so many things that I feel like if anyone did basic Q&A for 30 minutes, they'd go, hey, this is actually really annoying. Could you change anything else? Even just no lyrics, which is the go-to answer. But God,
it feels like they did a beta and then they're like, yeah, it's pretty good. Let's wrap it up. Let's do a couple extra things and ship it out. And that's wild to think about because they had a whole year to perfect it between Japanese and American release.
I feel like they probably were on to other things and they were like, who's going to really notice or care about these differences? And what is it, 15, 20 years where we're at? Whatever.
But I mean, Capcom is known for doing changes and stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, just again, if it was a game that I think they had more worries about, more concerns, maybe. I don't know.
That and license.
I'm also really surprised in the past, was it 2005? So it's about 17 years, 18 years now. Why we haven't gotten a sequel yet, or a remake, or not a sequel, but a full remake or another sequel game.
What? Why?
This?
Can you expand, please? I am genuinely curious.
Well, I mean, Nightmare Before Christmas sells well, no matter what. People are weird, and you even have the fact that we're at the point we're at now. People are already playing more and more video games. The other day, I had a little man walking into GameStop, and he sold Resident Evil and a whole bunch of other games and bought 3 new games. So I'm honestly surprised they haven't just been let's just soft remake this game and re-release it every other year.
And that's what they would have to do. I just can imagine them just up-resing this and putting it out and people fucking trashing it.
Yeah.
That's probably true too.
Yeah, the thing to remember too is this came out a month before the 360, so they had plenty of time to do it.
Oh, that hurts more. Oh God. So my history with this game was we had it when we were kids, me and my brother, because I was still pretty young and he lived at home. And I was I don't even remember how we got it. Probably just as a gift, maybe a Christmas gift. I could see it. Because my brother and my brother liked it quite a bit. He wasn't I don't want to use the word excessive, but it wasn't one of his niche favorite things. A lot is for a lot of people, which is totally valid. But he liked it enough. And we played it for a little bit. I don't have very vivid memories of how far we got. But at one point, we went to play it, and I had it for the original Xbox, and it wasn't working. It got scratched, as a lot of discs did back then, and just didn't work anymore. And so it was very sort of hard. And I was like, oh man, that kind of sucks, because we always wanted to see more. My brother was pretty bummed about it, especially because we did like Devil May Cry. He did a little bit. And I came into this very excited. I was like, I get to replay this game because I didn't remember anything about it. And I was like, I get to see what was going on all these years ago. And then, and I'm going to be very honest, I've been on this podcast a few times. If this was my first time on my podcast, I probably wouldn't have said any of this. I think I've played this game for a total of 5 hours. And I'm being very honest and transparent with y'all and a little nervous because you have been through a gauntlet that I can't imagine. Awesome. And I hated it so much. It was about 30%. I had life stuff going on. I had a work injury. I was getting through other games for a podcast. I procrastinated. And 70%, anytime I went to sit down and play this game, I would rather...
You'd rather what?
Anything. Oh,
okay.
I'm back. There we go. And I feel a little embarrassed and awkward because I'm my partial admission to this is because I also want to see if the fears I had in 5 hours and the things I could imagine about this game later are true. So that's kind of the other part of this where I'm I really want to see, because I think I could imagine how the rest of this game would go and all the things that suck about it and that are good about it. And so, yeah, there's my little soap stand. I'm going to get back down and let my peers judge me accordingly.
So I have no memories of this game. I didn't even know it existed till either somebody told me on this podcast. I know somebody wrote in the Patreon once at one point. It was like, hey, you should play this game. I forget his name. I apologize, sir, if you're still listening to the show. But somebody, people had mentioned it. And I'm like, all right, I need a Christmas game. Let's do it.
It was me. I mentioned during the Kingdom Hearts podcast that there's a Devil May Cry, which I also got maybe 2 hours into this game because I was like, oh man, Nightmare Before Christmas and Devil May Cry, and he's got a cool gooey hand thing.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah,
Cool for the time. I
You're like,
thought
I
was like,
regret this decision.
I like, oh, this is lame. I was like, it's kind of wacky, but not too off brand.
and then I open the game and it's like, oh, there's no combo system. You just hit the same button twice or repeatedly.
Yeah.
And then every T repeats the soul grabber line every 2 seconds. I'm like, oh.
Soul grabber.
So there is literally, for those who haven't played, a heavy attack and a light attack, pretty common. The light attack is a 2-hit combo. The heavy attack is a grab. And every time you heavy attack, it goes soul grabber. And that's the combat system in this game.
You also have a Pumpkin King trigger and a Santa Claus trigger.
Yeah, I had a feeling there was going to be elements added. I went to the shop at one point and I saw like 2 other things that looked like other weapons. And I was like, I doubt that's going to add a lot of variety here.
The Santa Claus gets 3 different present types. That's the variety they got.
Wow.
I used it, but I never like. Okay, so I have a question for you guys. So with the Santa type, you can when you throw one of the boxes, you're supposed to like use like as like a self. You can detonate it when you want to. I could never figure out how to fuck do that. Yes, you can supposedly.
Oh my god!
What?
Like there's a fat clown you have to stop at one point, and what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to, as you were throwing it around, you're supposed to, as he gets near, you're supposed to press a button and set it off on your decision.
That's what would make sense, but I couldn't figure that out. So I just had to wait for each one to trigger on its own.
Yep, I hit every button. I would just throw them all out and see what the hell happened. I hit every button in the damn controller. I could not figure it out, and that's an issue. When I can't figure out by hitting every button on your controller, there's an issue.
For the weird ass tutorial system they have, they could have at least mentioned that.
My guide did. So this game is confusing.
So are those the 2 other things I saw in the shop? Because I got to.
Yes.
Oh my god. You lovely Dominic, you said that sentence and you stopped and I was literally waiting for more and then there was nothing and I was like, oh my god.
Sorry, I was hoping they would fill in the blanks of there were 2 other presents for Santa Claus and that was it. That was the only thing that you saw.
I just really genuinely was like, oh, he's about to talk more. And then there was just about 2 seconds and I was like, oh no. I got to the graveyard. So I've done one, I did the first boss fight, and here's my I have like 3 positive and 2 negative comments about the boss fight. The music ad-lib, because basically they would take, I'm guessing, at least in the first boss fight, I'm guessing other fights, take songs from the game, and they would add new lyrics. And I thought during the first boss fight, I was like, this is kind of neat. It looped like 2 times for me, and as it started looping, I went, oh no, don't, no, it just stopped singing, just have the track, and I was dumbfounded by that choice. And the fight was fine. I don't know. The biggest thing I found, which goes into the fighting system, is the best combo, the best attack is to do like 2 and then the spin attack. And so that's all I did. I would just do that for like hours. And especially like during that first boss fight when the 2 ghosts spawned, I would just run up in Oogie's face, Oogie's shadow, and do that. And I would get like 100 combo. I also did play this on hard. And I had because I like to play almost all the games for this podcast on hard because I think
do that.
I do. I like games on hard. It's fun for me. And then we
play games on hard that aren't terrible.
Well, I do that too. But see, for this podcast, I feel it's kind of a nice thing because usually most people don't. And I think that highlights a glaring issue. I asked in chat. I was like,
that's fair.
How many hits does it take to kill a basic enemy? And by a basic enemy, I think I saw maybe 3 basic enemies, like a spooky skeleton is like a cartoony skeleton. Imagine a cartoony skeleton. That's the enemy. At least the only one I saw of like the common enemy types. Killing one of, and then they had different color and sizes, and I think one was like ranged. That was it. Killing a basic just melee white skeleton took about 60 hits on hard.
God.
What?
Yes. And I had it because I had the combo meter, so I would do the double attack and then the spin attack, and that would give me like 8 hits. So yeah, imagine how many hits it took to kill like bigger ones and harder ones.
So is this like how many licks to get the center of Tootsie Roll?
Yeah, it became that pretty quick. Anytime there was a new color and variant, I was like, oh great, how many hits is this gonna take? It might have been like 40, but like it was definitely more than 30, and like a number that every time I was doing, I was like, because that would make a fight of 5 skeletons. It would take like 3-4 minutes of me running up with their face, doing 2 attack spin.
Oh my god!
I would be so happy when another one got close enough that I started hitting a second one. I was like, oh thank God. You could also push the enemies if you kind of just ran into them. So I started doing that. It was hell. I mean, it also explains part of the reason I think why I burned out so quick. I was like, I can't do this because
even on easy, it took more hits than I felt it should have taken.
Oh,
so like the thing to there's a lot I want to say, right? But
go ahead.
At this moment, For this moment, the thing that is interesting to mention is that I think there is some kind of invisible internal leveling system because
What?
even if you don't upgrade, if you keep going, you will take out enemies faster than you did before.
That's interesting.
Like the blue skeletons by the end of the game, 3 hits.
Oh,
The only other thing they would have done is like intentional descaling of them to have that same sort of effect, which would be an
They might
interesting
have.
concept. But I could see it being one or the other.
Like I upgraded the soul grabber a little bit, but like even then, even when I didn't upgrade it that much, it was still like, oh, these are easier. So if they intentionally descaled it, I guess that would make sense. But
There was also an item that would boost your attack significantly that you could buy in the shop, but would sometimes drop.
which was also bullshit because it lasts like 5 seconds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I literally picked it up like 3 times in the like 4 hours I played, and I was so overjoyed because then I could kill enemies in like 4 or 5 hits, and I was like, wow, this is very nice. And then it'd be gone, and I was like, well, you need to learn to appreciate the small things when they come and go.
I think this game has a lot of issue because I know some of Dominic was talking about it. And I'm sure everyone else had other issues too. This game is also very, even though it was made in 2005, it's very 90s where it does a really bad habit of not telling you how or what to do things. I legitimately got to the point where I want to say I stopped at chapter 6. I think I did a bunch of stuff, but one of the things I had an issue with was like, oh, hey, go around and pick up all these coffins that they need you to pick up. Which, by the way, if you hit the map button, it tells you where all the coffins are.
It did it on mine. It did not on mine.
I didn't know there was a map button until
Yeah, see,
way too late.
I think a
I
lot of
beat
these
it.
very just simple comments are demonstrating how poorly this game is about just communicating with the player. It's just like, here's some info.
Joseph, I will tell you how many times I looked at that map hoping it would tell me something.
I'm gonna go upload the game just to prove that I'm right, but because that's how I found
I believe you.
That's how I found all the hanging bodies was by like, oh yeah, I hit select and it's like, here's where all the hanging bodies are at, and it's like, okay,
Because that's right where I stopped. It was one of the last questions I had. Were the hanging bodies associated with the glowing crypts?
no.
Oh, okay, the completely different thing. That's the thing. I got there and I was like, I'm just walking around like these crypts are glowing. These little tombstones. Maybe it's that. And maybe there's about 5 of them. And then
So that was to like stem the flow of enemies coming your way. Meanwhile, Zero is pointing you in the direction of where these hanging bodies are.
Yeah, see, I didn't get Zero. I was right when I was looking. That was another question. I was like, I think I stopped by the doghouse. I was like, oh yeah, Zero's not there. And then I talked to an NPC and he's like, oh yeah, Zero's in his grave. And I was like, okay, well now I gotta go find that.
It was on the way to. It was closer back to town.
Oh, good. Well, I completely missed it then. I was at the tree, jumping around, having a good old time. Well, having a time there.
Having a time.
But backplaying a little bit, whenever it got to the grave, it's like, oh hey, go pick up the graves to keep the enemies from spawning, and it doesn't tell you how to do it. So I'm like, are you supposed to hold or are you supposed to mash? I mashed it. I guess yeah. And then Jack weighs 50 pounds because he's a skeleton. So he's trying to like pick up these stupid tombstones, and you see him struggling and out of breath every time. But
it's weird.
Wait, so Joseph, did you also stop at that point?
yeah, I stopped at that point because I had 2 other games that I would rather play specifically for this podcast.
That's very fair. That's why I did the other one early.
That's why when you in chat were like, oh, I beat it, and then you're like, oh, I finally fucking beat it. I was just like, pulls that collar, like, yeah, like I just felt.
I was ready to not beat it. Briefly for me, I've heard of this game. I have never played it. I was aware of it. I don't really care about Nightmare Before Christmas. It's fine. Some of the music is fine. I love that Chris Sarandon's signature role is in this movie. That's very funny to me. I think this is maybe the worst game I played for this podcast.
Yeah, it's top 5.
This is talking to somebody who I was on the Dragon Ball Z Game Boy Color game episode
Legendary
where
Super Saiyan Warriors.
I did not get very far, and I had more enjoyment from that weird battle system, even though I didn't get very far, than playing this entire game.
I did too, actually, which is weird.
That's a good game, though.
That was a good game, surprisingly. Yeah,
It was interesting.
I love that game. Damn it.
Yeah, at least if it was interesting, we'd have something going on. But it's just so many like negative tropes of like, oh, we don't communicate with the player. Oh, the combat is like upsettingly simplistic. Oh, the music's gonna
So,
be
like,
repetitious.
So Devil May Cry, right? Dante has 2 things: a sword and a gun.
well, you also get other things.
Well, yes.
Well, up front,
Jack has one
spoiling
thing.
Combos.
Jack has Soul Grabber.
so
And that's it, except for the other costumes. But like, there's no gun. There's no like way to just like range enemies. It is just the weakest fucking attacks. Like there's no like empowerment. There is no like badassery. There's no like way to feel good about it.
And it's fucking endless. The sounds, just how often I heard things I did not need to hear ever again.
And like the time it takes to complete these objectives is crazy. I got a D rank for every chapter for time.
Yeah, I was too. But for me, I was like, oh, it's got to be these enemies. Like I think eventually I stopped killing a lot of them, and I was like, I'm just gonna run past because I don't got time.
Like I was putting the game down and like doing other shit, and like it would just keep counting up the timer while I was gone. It's like fuck, fine, whatever. So my gameplay time is like 30 hours or something.
Yeah, but none of that really matters a whole lot, to be honest, either.
To ranks, it does.
Well, yeah, but you don't really need to worry about the rank, I felt.
No, I just feel bad when it's like, oh, you took a lot of time. Well, it's like, well, in some chapters, yes, I did. But in some chapters, I just had to go wash dishes.
My way too generous to what this game actually was thought initially was, oh, I'm sure you'll get more powerful or cooler weapons, and then you go back and replay it. And apparently that doesn't happen. And I'm like, gosh.
That's another complaint. Like, you just have this one weapon forever, and you don't get anything. You don't get really any other you get the Santa stuff, but the Santa stuff is just garbage.
And the Pumpkin King stuff is rarely useful. Well, here and there it might be, but like it's not like I want to switch it up and do something else kind of thing.
I only used it when I had to use the fire ability to burn a couple things to get through somewhere. That was it.
The one fucking like throw enemies at you objective for the Thanksgiving door at late in the game. That was the one time I got to use the firebomb and be effective with it.
What's the firebomb?
It's the heavy attack for Pumpkin King.
Oh, okay. I never fought a single enemy with Pumpkin King. I just used it literally to light fires when I had to. It's just like it's an area of effect attack. So it's like if you get all of them like coming at you, you can just explode it and they'll all mostly die, or some of the tougher ones will at least get like half damage. Okay. Yeah, I just never bothered. I really just hit square until I beat this game 10 hours later.
Well, it was square. Like that. It's that 2 interval. It's really important to know.
I will give this game 2 things. 2 things I will give this game.
The middle fingers?
No. One, I think the rhythm section's actually pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. I do agree.
Them rewriting the songs is pretty okay. It's just a weird thing because it's not. I want to say it's barely functioned by Disney and probably Danny Elfman, so it's like we can't write any new songs for this fucking game. So just reuse the Oogie Boogie songs like 3 times.
So other boss fights, I would love to hear more about them because I was hopeful more than I was at the start of this about how good or different they were.
So you have about 5 of the dance battles.
Okay.
And I think they were the best part of the game. I think that's the most interesting concept. I think it is the thing that like somebody had an idea and they prototyped it. And they're like, yeah, we could use this.
Okay,
Great,
I got a counterpoint though.
Yes.
If the game explained how to do it, you are right.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I did not figure out how to do a single dance puzzle to the final end of the game when I had no choice. And I realized, I have to wait until, there's marks here in the middle. That's where I pressed the button. I had no fucking idea. I just pressed the buttons. I saw them coming up and they kept saying, fail. I'm like, what the fuck? So, sorry, keep going, please. I just had to interrupt.
No, that's exactly right. It doesn't tell you. I learned it quickly because, God, those button commands come at you fast.
Yeah, they do.
But like, yeah, so they had like 5 of those. Best parts of the game. Most fun I had. Your other bosses include a spider boss that you have to go around the back and hit the glowing part and it explodes a bunch of little spiders. You got to hit all the spiders before it gets back together and repeat that a few times until all the spiders are dead, and then you have to kill the bigger spider. One last hit. And that comes about 2 or 3 times, depending if you get the secret chapters.
Oh,
I didn't mind that.
That was a fine boss fight. That was like the one boss fight where it's like, hey, you just got to get around to the back and just whack it. That's fine.
I was gonna say it's just like game design standard. Your basic boss.
It was fine. The one I hated the most was the one where you had to where you fought Oogie. That reminded me of Kingdom Hearts 1, where he's on that spinny platform.
They have the casino type level. Yeah,
that was miserable because I didn't understand how to hurt him until they're like little soldiers that he spawns at one point. If you hit him enough, then they shoot him instead above him.
Oh, I didn't even get that.
Oh, that's what
so then how did you damage him in that fight?
You can hit him too.
So I powered up my note meter by punching all the mirrors and other shit that was popping up. And then when he was on the center platform, you could occasionally hit him for damage.
Yeah, that's because that's like the first boss fight is you have to power up your note meter just to make the music section start, and then that's where you do like actual like a chunk of his health rather than just little nibbits.
But it's also optional. That's the funny part. If you fail all those note events, you can still beat him.
Yes, I can speak for a fact for that.
I can also speak for a fact that at least on hard, if you did not do the note events, it's a little goddamn tiny tim of a tick of damage you do per hit. Like, I would guess if I did not do the note part, like, because the note would do like a fourth, maybe a third. If I just went straight raw, just slapping that shadowy man, it would probably have taken me a literal hour. Like, that's how little health you're doing.
But, like, so the final boss fight on normal is also that. Because the final boss fight on normal has two phases. The second phase is the dance battle, right? The first phase is where Oogie's gotten really big. You're in, like, a trash heap. There's a bunch of little gas mains happening. You should be able to set him on fire whenever he approaches you and you're near a gas main. Easy. Whatever. But the fire effect is on a limited counter, right? So if you run out of the fire, you're fucked. Except if you go down to the ground level and you just attack him and attack him and attack him and attack him, you will whittle down his health little bit by little bit by little bit. And he'll do the thing where you attack his feet and then he'll fall over. Then you attack the head and then he gets up. And then you attack the feet and then he falls over. And then you attack the head and then he gets up. So they at least thought ahead to be like, well, if they run out of fire, they have to do something. We can't just give them more firepower.
So what you're telling me was...
That's a wild thought. Like, JK, sorry, Pat. Won't give more fire? No. Just
so what you're saying, Dominic, is he got knocked up, but then he gets up again. Nothing's going to keep him down?
I have actually reviewed a Chumbawamba album really recently, and I can tell you with a fact that Chumbawamba actually fucks. They're really good.
Oh, I couldn't help it. I was like, that's what came in my head immediately. I'm like, I have to make this joke. When am I ever going to get to make this joke again? So, thank you.
The other boss fight that exists that I want to talk about is the fucking ogre boss fight that happens, chapter 20. Which I want to talk about the chapter system in a minute, too. But
sure.
The fire and ice ogres that come up randomly out of nowhere.
Yeah.
They are the most powerful of that enemy type, because the ogres in general, you can't attack from the front. You have to go around the back and hit them like the spiders. When they have raised their axes, you can maybe hit them from the front a little bit. These guys are the most relentless. They have the longest range. They are just ruthless, and they will, whenever they attack you, they will knock you down. Half of their attacks will stun you. It is wild. And there's two of them. So you have to really make sure to dodge one while attacking the other. But what happens is that, because like halfway through, you can usually knock their axe out of their hand, use the axe against them, yada, yada, yada. But when you get past that point, they will like disappear and come back in their shadow form. And the game did not really teach me what to do with the shadow form. Like, it kind of did. But I didn't really realize it at first until I looked up a guide, because in shadow form, they are invincible. You cannot damage them.
Oh, I didn't know.
So what you got to do... Was that, Mike?
I didn't know that either. I hit him in shadow form.
Maybe that's an easy thing. I have no idea. But on normal...
No, I mean, I hit him. I don't think it did anything, but I hit him anyway.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, an enemy.
Yeah.
I'll just smack it.
But what you got to do is you got to set those fucking present booby traps as Santa. And wait for them to trigger. And wait for them to get shocked by it. And I got all three of those present types. But the only one that worked was the original one that I had powered up a little bit. So getting the extras was pointless. And you just had to wait. You just had to make sure that they were standing in the right spot, get spooked by the present, because they could walk away. They could do whatever. But if they got spooked, they would turn back to their normal form. And you could continue your relentless attack. But my God, did I fucking hate that boss fight.
I'm watching the boss fight. I'm watching the boss fight, and I see what you're talking about, where they're like invisible, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like, you have a little arena you're in, so there's not like a lot of room to move around. Their axe reach, again, insane, will knock you down. Half the time will stun you. And you have to fucking do the analog circle in a motion to get out of your stun faster.
This game
like they hit. And I can't even count how many times I died.
What's the
I was ready to give up in this game 3 different times. And every time I did, I thought, this is it. I'm not going to finish it. And I went back.
What? How did you just dig deep within, or was there something like you just wanted to beat it?
He didn't want to let down games, my mom. No,
I was really silly and thought, oh, this is Devil May Cry for kids. It'll be easy.
Yeah, it should have been.
And then when it wasn't, I said, fuck you, and finishing it. I didn't think it'd be today, because I finished it literally 10 hours ago at 1 a.m. I was like, maybe I'll finish it like around Christmas. Who knows? But I was like, I'm gonna fucking do it.
I always love hearing stories of people staying up late to beat games for Mike, because I've also have one of those stories, and so does Milk. Milk send me various texts throughout the night trying to get through Heavy Rain, and then all I can remember from my point was me playing Metal Gear Solid 2, and the game, and me being right at the end, like an hour before the podcast starts, being like, you should turn the game off and go to sleep.
And you're like, I should go to sleep. You're right. Yeah.
So I have seen kind of other little boss fights. Like there's one where you fight the doctor and it looks like he has turret.
Oh yes, that's right.
And then you fight like the 3 kids in a bathtub.
Oh yeah, there's a ton of shock barrel
And
fights. Holy shit.
And
No,
they
there's-
don't stop singing.
Oh, let me hear this. I'm gonna play some audio.
The doctor one's interesting.
It's not the song that you would know from the. It's a new song, but or new lyrics, but the same song.
Yeah, I know. I had the most disgusting thought because I always try to watch all the cutscenes and stuff just in case I can't beat the games. And the second Oogie boss fight that you have, where he's in the circular thing, it's probably the worst thing I'm going to say on Mike's podcast ever. But when you beat him, he's like bent over, and all I could think of was, oh man, his Oogie Boosie is out in the open.
Oh. Wow.
And I'm sorry to dominate the conversation so much, but I really just have so much to just let out about it.
You are the person. This is your therapy time. You put the in along with Mike. I think you guys should be able to.
You know,
please.
Sometimes I feel bad when I get people to play bad games, but all of you volunteered like so
Yes,
quickly.
we all
I don't
volunteered.
feel any
Yeah.
guilt this time.
Mine was fucking missing
Childhood
out.
memories lying to you?
Yeah, childhood nostalgia. I'm like, oh, I'm sure this will be kind of fun.
I think if you would have played on easy, you wouldn't have hated it as much. I think you would have had a
Probably.
decent time.
I mean, well, wait, what difficulty did you play on, Dominic?
Normal.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. Everything you guys are saying, I think I would have been less. I would have maybe gotten farther, but I think I would have been just as like frustrated about different things.
Like, I volunteered to do this because it was kind of a meme. Like, oh, Kingdom Hearts is getting away from Nightmare Before Christmas. We should do this as like a little fun haha.
It was a fun.
And I am down next year to do the GBA game as well.
Oh
Don't get me
yeah,
wrong.
GBA sounds nice. This looks awful. Look at these boss fights.
And I'm gonna assume that GBA game is also bad. I'm not gonna fucking assume anything anymore.
Yeah, after hearing Milk have childhood memories of this and being like, oh yeah, the game was bad. I'm also worried, like, fuck, was that game bad? Because I also very specifically remember that not playing the game for like a year because I got stuck. But also I was like 10, so.
I mean, that
No.
could be what it was. You're just young. I mean,
Yeah.
we'll play it. I might as well finish out the only. I mean, there's nothing else Nightmare Before Christmas. We're not going to get anything else Nightmare Before Christmas, I'm pretty sure at this point. So
Yeah, we gotta pause for time so we can play what is it? We can play Dead Rising 2 and Off the Record next year. And then the year and then the year after that we can play 3 and you can play 4 for Christmas.
I mean, I don't know if you're aware, but neither 2 or Off the Record are on the schedule for some weird reason. They didn't end up on the schedule yet.
Oh, you better go back
why.
and do some tweaking. You know, you got to really squeeze those in.
It's weird. I'm trying to find excuses not to play them.
What? It's almost like you did that for the first one for like 3 years. It's fine.
Was
I
it-
did do it for the first one for 3 years, and I finally said, "Okay, I'm going to do it." And I had one of the most stressful experiences of this podcast. So yeah.
Was Dead Rising 05 or 06?
I think it was first year of 360.
06, because it's 360, so it has to be 06.
Okay. Yeah, it was 06. Imagine if it was 05 and it was the same year as this.
Yeah, that's when you said it was a year for the Xbox 360. I was like, wow, I can't. I mean, I guess technically, I would guess it's probably like 2 years because they finished in Japan. I bet just didn't touch it for a year outside of voice localization and then just put it out. But
Oh, I
Even
wonder,
still.
do we know that they localize the voices?
oh,
They
you
do,
like
the
the
Japanese
Japanese
dub?
version in? Let me look.
Because there's a chance because it's the film cast. They might not have.
I think I can tell you right now, I don't think it's a film cast, especially because that is not Jack's original singing voice, because the original Jack singing voice is Danny Elfman. So
Yeah.
I mean, they could have gotten Chris Sarandon to do it. Well, there is a guy credited in the credits first and foremost, but everyone is mostly there except Danny Elfman.
It was too good for this game. I also
I
think
mean, they
it's
got
funny.
Paul Rubens.
Oh, he passed away, didn't he?
Yeah,
He
but he's one of the Lock, Shock, Barrel kids.
I fucking hate the Lock, Stock, Barrel Kid. I hate the fact you got to fight each one of them once, and you
Yes.
fight all 3 of them together.
And then in the secret chapters, you fight them again.
I don't know how. I didn't do the secret chapters. I didn't look up how to get them. I was just like, game over. I got credits. Goodbye, game. I never want to see you again. So,
I found one on accident, and the other one I did not find, and I'm glad I did not. But I tried to go back and do one, and it wouldn't let me do it. So I'm like, fuck it, that's fine. I don't need to do it. That's fine.
Once credits roll in a game, if you don't enjoy that game, you go done, and you get rid of that game.
But are we still looking up the?
In hindsight, I don't know why I thought this very obscure, uncommon game would have gameplay of the PAL version. I can't find anything on YouTube.
There's not even that many like reviews on YouTube or anything. Like this is not as bizarre as some of the games we've done.
I found a high quality trailer of the game. I found that
the trailer is also when you start up the game, it plays the trailer.
Oh,
Jack,
if you let it run through the attract screen, it's just a fucking trailer.
So I think I have a few small comments, observations for the early time that highlight some of this. Like, you guys remember when you got the ability to do the heavy attack to lunge yourself into things?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get that at all for like 5 minutes because I walked out of the Oogie boss fight. I think there was a cutscene that highlighted it, and then I was like, I don't know what that means, and I walked around, and then I did it at a different area, and I was like, okay, I guess that's a thing, and then I went back, and I was like, okay, and and then I think after that, a character walks in to the environment, and I talked to him once. And then nothing changed. But the conversation left on a weird endpoint where I was like, well, then I guess that's all there is. It's weird, but surely there's something else to do. And I went back to running around for like 10 minutes. And after like 10 minutes, I went, this game doesn't want me to talk to this character a second time to progress the game, right? And then I did. And then I think that's when the manhole started wiggling. And I was like, oh my God, why would you not just make this one conversation? Like, I just don't get this
It was the corpse kid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first time I knew something was up with this game. When it's like, talk to the corpse kid. And I'm like, where is he? And yes, they had a cutscene of him walking up to the fountain, right? But he's so small.
He's just like itty bitty.
I missed him like 2 or 3 times.
There's because I was wandering around for so long in that first area, because again, just not clear. There was a little offshoot that's just a dead end of presents, and I think they're like flying pumpkins enemies. There's some like
yeah,
ghosts?
That'll be important later.
Oh,
are you talking about the ghost that won't stop spawning?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, you can't go through there till later.
yeah.
I was convinced that if I killed enough of them, I would get like a health upgrade, because I found some of those later. I was like, oh, I bet that's what they're. I spent probably like 15 minutes going in and out, getting like just free in-game currency to buy stuff, and I was like, man, this is really hard, because as far as I could tell, and I bet maybe the other outfits help, but they would like drop a present and the enemies were in the present, and the only way to get them out was to walk up to it. But if you do that, you guaranteedly got damaged every time. I tried
you have
through it.
to use Santa Claus to do that.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I was so
You do?
That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to use Santa Claus and pop one of the presents so then it scares them out of it.
Yeah, because I kept trying to like do the long range
I didn't
grab.
do
I
it.
kept
I
trying to slap them, like
don't
dodge roll, nothing.
I just dodge rolled around them until they open, and sometimes it works, sometimes I got damaged. Who knows?
Yeah, it was. But that was just another element of like, again, I was like, well, I don't know where to go, and this is here, so it's something to do. Maybe I'll get more health, and I spent so long because the other doors are locked. Why would they not?
Yes, because it's a hub world.
Yeah, I mean, again, I am so happy. I use a guide to everything I do, but I am so happy I had a guide on in this game.
Yeah, see, that's again another important reason why I don't do that, because like I try to play these games very like how a kid back then would have, of like, yeah, I sometimes even look at the manual to like try to figure things out, but like this was just abysmal so quickly, and I was like, wow, I hate this.
So
I'd rather
go ahead.
Oh, it's because I'd rather be listening to David Cage writing. That's how much I hate this.
So the Dr. Finkelstein fight was interesting because in the game, Oogie like swaps his brain out with an evil brain. That's one of Oogie's trademarks in this game. So he'll swap something out with the Oogie version of it. You gotta swap them back.
Should I tell you how stupid that sounds? I know you're accurate, but that sounds so stupid.
So the boss fight, it's one of the dance fights, and you can do all of that, but that's not really what you're meant to do. In this boss fight, you're meant to use the heavy attack to grapple onto the doctor's brain or his head, open up his head, and then grab the brain and then toss it in. And then you'll toss the evil part out. You have to do it twice.
No.
Yeah, I could not figure this out. Even with the guy telling me what to do, it took me a while to figure it out.
It took trial and error. Because I would do the singing stuff, I would do the whole thing, and it would not really damage him at all. And it's like, what the fuck?
So,
I was very confused and upset. Yes, please go.
so you guys want to talk about stuff that didn't make sense and is really confusing? Every time you did a boss fight, you would get the door, but they wouldn't tell you what to do with the door. And in fact, it takes like half the game before they're like, "Oh, you got to go." Fuck, as the ghost part.
Half the
reminded
game
me.
is generous. It's like 3/4 of the game.
Okay. Yeah, okay, that's even worse then, because I was watching cutscenes, but it's like, oh yeah, you have to go over there, and the ghosts you couldn't beat, you can now beat them, and then you can go use the doors. And sadly enough, which they could have had an opportunity, but I don't think you want to stretch this game out as long as you can. I don't think you see or meet any other people or go to the other worlds that the doors show off.
Yes, I want
You
to
don't,
talk.
thank
I want
God.
to talk about the doors for a second. Do you remember when they list the doors off that are there? They do it early on.
I mean, I've seen the doors plenty of times now, but yes.
I don't think I've ever heard a list. Maybe I have, but I feel like I would have remembered hearing, isn't it Memorial Day door?
Independence Day door.
Independence Day. That's a wild. I would love to walk into there and just see fireworks and barbecues and God knows what else. But
Why is everybody wearing Trump hats?
red baseball caps. What's going on here? That's out of all the other doors, I'm like, okay, sure, yeah. Oh, there's some pretty fantasy stuff with that holiday, and then Independence Day, and I was like, all right, one of these things is not.
I mean, that was in the original movie, right?
Did they
Yes.
call them out in the movie?
Okay.
No, he just kind of looks around, and which is even weirder because if according to the Christmas store, Halloween Town has access to all 7 other holidays, but Christmas only has access to Halloween.
Maybe it's because in
Weird.
Halloween. Well, no, I was gonna say in Halloween you dress up as other things, but even then, like they don't do that in the movie to like imply that that's why. There's no.
Doesn't
Looking
make
for
much
logic
sense.
where there isn't any.
Yeah. I mean, that between this and Heavy Rain, that's been a lot of my life with video games last. Like weeks.
If someone was better at making a game, Nightmare Before Christmas, like a game like this, could have been a Kingdom Hearts like.
Yeah.
Visiting all the worlds.
Yeah. Maybe that was part of it. Maybe they were like, we can't just don't want to be Kingdom Hearts. We want to do something a little different. We want to let's stay very centralized to the Nightmare Before Christmas lore and whatnot.
I believe that.
I will say the forest where all those doors are, when you go in there for the first time, it looks really nice. It's like a black and white kind of sketchy stencil-y aesthetic. And it looks really cool. Like it just looks like unlike anything you would usually see at that time for like an Xbox game or a PS2 game.
Yeah.
Where it's like someone took time to like stylize it and make it kind of like indie looking. But then the whole objective is to return the doors and return the hinterlands to normal, their fucking brown color.
I don't like the hinterlands at all. I got so fucking lost trying to find one of the doors. I literally had to watch a video and just copy what the guy did because I could not figure it out for the life of me.
Aren't the
I
doors
believe
just
that.
in a circle, or when they're like,
No,
are they
well,
missing?
They are in a circle eventually.
Yeah, but they aren't when you first get there because they're all fucked
No,
up.
well, see, because they get spread across the fucking hinterlands. You got to go to all the different dead ends and figure out where they are. But of course, the Christmas store, that's the last one you have to return. You have to return that one to when all the trees are facing each other again.
I just know I got super lost and confused, and I killed so many people trying to figure out what the hell to do.
But that's also confusing because like you're expecting, okay, all the trees, the doors are separated, right? So if I'm back in the place where they're all together again, I probably missed the Christmas store somewhere. So let me go check around one more time to make sure I scoured every room, every inch of every room, just to be sure. But no, it's there. You just got to go there.
Yeah, I was just unhappy. I mean, I didn't hate this game. Like, I know I've talked a lot of shit already about this game, but I didn't hate it. It just,
I wanted to ask, like, of all the games you've played, 500 more or less, where does this one stand? Is it like bottom 50?
Oh, it hasn't been 500. I mean, because there's many other episodes.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I mean, there's been somewhere between 250 and 300, most likely.
And this
'Cause you've got
game
the
is like,
minis and
where's it living for you? And just rough guesstimate.
it wasn't terrible. It's just if it wasn't for the damn like repeating music and just I might have not hated it as much. So.
To be fair, Mike also does like a bunch of games he wants to do, so I'm pretty sure at some point, if there was a game he didn't want to do, he would probably tell the people he's doing the podcast with, like, guys, I don't think I want to play this.
No, if we set it up, it happens. Pretty much. Period.
There's only a handful of games you've not finished, I believe.
There are 3 on this podcast. 1, by lack of skill. 2, by there was no possible way to emulate or beat said game. Blood Omen 2 glitched in the final boss. Soul Reaver 2 couldn't even get it to work. PC, PS2, nothing would work. And I'm talking about PS2 emulation. So I had to watch YouTube. So I literally sat and watched YouTube videos of a Let's Play for the entire game so I could say at least I experienced it. And Beautiful Joe, I just wasn't good enough without save states. And I was playing on legit hardware. So, yeah.
I love that it was Soul Reaver 2 and Blood Omen 2. That's wonderful.
There's something up with the Soul Reaver games because like they were on sale on Steam like I want to say maybe 5 years ago, and I bought all of them. I can't play any of them on my PC. Like I bought them legitimately, and I can't play them.
The PC ports are bad. There's something wrong with them. They don't work.
Okay. Oh, that was
They probably came out years ago.
Yeah, and they're not getting. I mean, that company doesn't exist really. So
Silicon Knights.
Well, Silicon Knights only did Blood Omen 1, and then they're gone after that. They didn't work on the rest of them. But I don't know if the people who did Soul Reaver 2 or any of them are still around. I could be, but I mean that franchise is dead and gone at this point, so nobody cares.
I mean,
People
they should
that can
hire
fix it
Tosei to come in and like fix it because they'll do anything. They've been around since 1979.
Damn.
They've made so many games. They've put out games like City Connection, Muscle, Bases Loaded on the NES. All the way up to like PS4 games and Wii U games. They worked on fucking Paper Mario Color Splash. They worked on Code Veronica.
Oh, damn. Okay.
They worked on a Crisis Core remake for PS4. They've been around, but like it doesn't always mean everything they do is great.
I had fun with this game. There were times where I just enjoyed the fake Devil May Cry, and I just enjoyed on easy beating up enemies, and I had a decent time. Like I didn't hate this game. I mean, I know I made so many jokes, but like I really want to emphasize that. Like I had fun. I mean, with a guide, I could figure out where to go when I would get confused, because I did get confused a few times. But for me, as long as I'm killing enemies and I'm getting something for it, even though like the souls didn't matter really because I didn't need to buy any.
I was about to say, I was like, these souls felt like Whose Lines points. You get them, and it's
but
buy stuff, but they don't really.
They're
matter.
mostly there to make sure that you can waste them when you have to be revived again and again and again.
Oh yeah,
yeah, I forgot about that. That only happened for me in the final boss fight. That's the only time where I died at all.
God, that sounds nice.
And I died because I couldn't do the music because I didn't know how. And then once I figured out how, that fucking beat got me a few times because I'm not a music person really. Anyone who listens to the podcast probably knows. So
yeah, and they switch it up on you on the button prompts in the last go around there.
Oh, they put like so many right together. I'm like, come on now, guys. Like you don't need to have this.
Because they'll kind of like lull you through like, okay, YX, BA, because I did the Xbox version. And then they'll do AB, XY, and it's like, fuck you.
And then it's like everything all at once, very quickly. And that's where I died. I didn't think I was going to finish this game, but yeah, I think I did it like 5 or 6 times, and I finally got it. I turned off the music too. I just muted it completely, so I didn't have anything to listen to. I just was able to just focus on the buttons and not even think about the music.
Yeah,
that reminds me of doing the endurance trials and Star Fox Adventures when I had to do that.
Oh.
Another game's been on this podcast too, Star Fox Adventures.
If I were to give this game like a pretty typical like actual review based on the common metric system that's used, or was at least still is, I'd give it like a 3. It functions. It functions. The music parts with lyric swaps are kind of cool for a minute. That's about it. That's the nicest thing I can say. And I guess that even the difficulty is garbo the way it works. It's like that's all.
Well, I mean, if you like Nightmare Before Christmas, playing this on easy is not a bad game. I mean, you're never going to be able to buy it. You're never going to be able to play it legally ever again in your life. But
unless you buy an Xbox or PS2 copy.
Yeah, it's like there's secondhand shops.
Yeah, I don't really think about those. Like, yeah, I know there are, but they're getting less and less. I feel like that's it's not a dime.
It depends on where you are.
Yeah, I was gonna say out here, it's thankfully still pretty like a thing.
We don't have many.
Yeah,
that's Chicago suburbs, Mike. There's plenty.
Well, I'm in Minnesota. There's not a whole lot up here, unfortunately.
If I were to review this on like a Game Informer scale specifically, because that's what I'm used to, it'd be like a 4 out of 10. If I'm doing this on like a 5 average metric scale, probably be like a 3, 2 point something.
Yeah. I always go on a 5-star scale because I watched G4 a lot as a kid, and I believe 5 counts.
Oh, like a 5-star scale. Oh, yeah. That's like a 1 then.
Oh, I give it a solid 3.
Because I was saying like
Okay.
a 5 being average out of 10 scale, but a 5-star scale, it's like a 1.
Yeah.
Because there are interesting ideas. I will not like be neglect that there are some cool ideas in it, but like so much is wrong. So much is
Oh god, you remember that? There's that one dungeon near the end of the game, Oogies place, where you have to. This is the part where I was getting ready to rage quit. When you're in the lava area and you
the
have to
fucking lava area. Yeah.
Yes, and, like, you fall, you can die. Every time you fall, you die. I'm like, this is, and I was trying to figure out how to do some of these things. And I just could not get it to. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Oh,
And then
I
like,
got
you
it
have to figure
eventually.
because then there are some random fences you have to figure your way around, and it's like, oh, you because there's a grappling mechanic, of course. Oh, you couldn't grapple. You shouldn't have grappled over there. You have to go a little bit farther over here, and find the second grapple hook and grapple to that section. It's like,
oh my god.
just stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's all the hidden places you can find throughout the game, where are just like random little combat arenas that you could just get some like extra figurines, and occasionally you'll have to do one to get story progression because there'll be like an item you need in there.
It was so funny just playing the early part of this game, and I encountered little things, and I had so much hope. Like when I found Jack's house, and I got to like there was a costume thing where you could preview costumes, and I was like, oh, that'll be cool. I bet you like can get points, or like and you can wear different outfits, and it's like, no, it's just I'm guessing just the 2 for the different battle types, which are shitty. And I'm like, oh, jeez.
And like the figurines are cool, but that's when to get a figurine most of the time you have to get A ranks in every stat and in every chapter, right? So every chapter you get a figurine if you're good enough. But I only got the ones from the combat arenas because fuck getting those A ranks.
You also
Impossible.
you also have to get A ranks in all the categories in order to unlock to unlock the figures.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
I thought that
It's
was stupid too.
awful.
Oh god, it's all so bad.
Like I can go and like grind through Sonic Adventure 2 and A rank all those levels. I can do that.
Yeah.
I never
This
did do
game,
that.
no fucking way.
But also, Sonic Adventure 2 gives you a much better bonus. So
Yeah, I was gonna say Sonic Adventure 2, you get like probably a really cool thing that is very like
You do.
honestly, it's like for how much work it is, this is my opinion as someone who loves that game, it's not worth it. It's really cool, but like for how short-lived it is, it's like, oh, that was neat. Was it worth how many potential hours I imagined it would take? No. But another random nugget I hated was when I would attack certain enemies. Like there's so much, it's so little time. When you would attack certain enemies, they would drop either like the souls or the little currency or the music notes in the boss fight, and they would be like slightly in the air.
Yeah.
And the only way to get them was to do the whole dodge sequence, which ends in a slight hop, and then it would give it to me. And I was like, who thought, what is this? Why?
Alternatively, if you're fighting multiple enemies, doing the attacks and hitting the enemies, it'll cause like the thing to fly back and it'll grab it then.
Oh my god, that's
Especially if you're doing the heavy attack. But that's another problem, is that the dodging mechanic, there's no verticality to it.
except for like a tiny little nugget hop. Just
But there's no jumping in this game.
no, there's no jumping. That's why. That's the only height elevation mechanic there is like the last thing he does, like a little skip, and it gets you like
It's like a fucking ballet performance.
yeah, and it's like, oh, I'm in the air for
Yeah,
I'm a
it's not
little
very
bit in the
good.
air for half a second. Oh, cool, I grabbed those. So I was just like, oh, I'm giving up. I'm not grabbing those. They just don't exist.
Which brings me to the Christmas Town level,
Oh, please.
where that is a level in which they should have let you jump. It would have been so much easier if they did. Because instead, you got to figure out all these ways to finagle yourself on the roofs to get all the ornaments to save the Christmas tree, because Oogies, of course, replace the Christmas tree with his Christmas tree, which is an Oogie tree. But like, we're talking about like, okay, there's a train that goes around the town. You have to time yourself to get on the top of the train to then grapple onto the roof. Fair enough. But there's one sequence in which you have to change the track so that the train goes on the right track. However, the actual act of changing the track, you have to do the soul grabber, and you only have a limited range in which you can actually reach the fucking thing and then get to the train. However, the other thing with that is that like the changing track thing, when you do the lever, it only lasts like 7 seconds. So you got to like do it, run all the way over to the thing where you have to get on the train and hopefully get on there before it changes back, or you miss the moment and you fuck up and you land on the ground again. It is
Yeah, that was
weirdly
annoying.
precise for a game that is not precise.
I I feel like there should be a very special club for people who beat this game, and you both would be in it, because holy hell.
Well, I mean, he beat it on a harder difficulty than me, but yes.
I beat it on normal.
If you beat it on
That's a higher
hard,
difficulty than me, but yes.
if you beat it on hard, you're just a weird mess. Because like, especially once I learned, like when I messaged you guys, I was like, oh, I don't like if that's the only difference that it seems like, then I would not continue doing this. It's not worth it.
No, it's just did they just raise the enemy's health? Like they're like, well,
Yep.
You want a challenge, sir? You get to hit the same buttons over and over and over and over and over and over and over.
Yes, it's you want a challenge, and we don't got that. You can do this longer. We'll just get more of your free time. No.
I really thought I was going to be outlier here and not finish it, and you three were like seasoned vets with it or something. And
I was-
Mike is Mike, but like,
I mean, I thought I was gonna be the only one who just totally was like, no, and I'm glad Joe's here. Then I'm like, okay, I'm not
Just
alone.
joking on this podcast a lot lately.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, there's a very sad reason for that we're not going to talk about right now.
fair enough.
I'll tell you after this.
Okay.
But like, holy shit, right? Like, there's just I will probably find more things to complain about because like,
Yeah.
this game could have worked. And another thing actually, the fucking camera angles. They do the fucking Devil May Cry,
Resident
static
Evil.
camera angles that you Resident Evil 2, yes. Where you have a camera angle and you walk around the world in that angle, and then when you go somewhere else, it'll change the angle. That's fine. That doesn't really work for this game though, because it's like the things you need to do, you need to see, you need to be more precise, and like you need that extra level of like, am I close enough? Am I far away? I can't tell because the way it's positioned. Who knows? I would never put the camera there.
Yeah.
And like there's moments, especially like during that fucking twin ogre fight I was talking about, where if you go to one specific spot in the map, it will just do a close up, and it's like, why would you do that? I don't need that. I can't see what I'm fucking doing.
Is it a
Not
corner?
only can I not see Jack, I cannot see like the enemies. Basically, they're fucking blocking the screen.
Is it like a corner that does that?
Yeah,
Oh.
it's like the fucking holiday door or altar where you have to put the doors initially to open up Spiral Hill, to then swap the doors out with the Oogie doors later on, to then put the doors back on the trees.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's right by the end of the game. It's an annoying fight. Joe, what difficulty were you playing this on?
I was playing on easy, so
Okay, good.
it wasn't that hard. That's the thing, that if I had fully gone through the game, I wouldn't have as much as a bad time. I did have an issue where I kept forgetting that you couldn't jump, so I'm sitting there trying to dodge, being like, why aren't I dodging up and not to the side? And I hope someone can answer this question for me as well. With you having pumpkin jack, I guess would be the term for it. Do you do you find more fire to use, or do you just like, do you have to rebuy fire for?
You get it from
use?
enemies.
Okay.
Occasionally.
Occasionally. Oh.
It's much easier to just go and buy them.
I mean, I never used the power, so it didn't matter to me. I only used it. Does it regenerate by itself over time, like slowly?
If you got to regenerate, you probably found one of the random ones from the enemies.
Okay, I never used it, so I was just curious. Maybe it.
Well, you were
regenerates
using
by-
it to take down the wooden fences and all that.
Yeah, but that's it. And then I went away, and then I never saw it again until the next time a wooden fence came up. Like
Right.
a while later. It wasn't something I was like dealing with really. I mean, also this game does have a couple different. Like one, you can collect 4 skulls, which lets you get another bottle, which you can then fill up with a healing spring that's in the center of town.
Bottle being your way to heal.
Yeah, it reminded me of Estus Flask, but then you also have like big pumpkins you can find too, which will then give you upgrades to your health.
One more health tick, yeah.
Which is nice. I mean, it definitely, because for me it took 2 hits for health to affect it.
That was still the same for me. Like it's like if you hit it once, it got shaky, and then another time it fell away. Generally,
So it wasn't too bad.
except for the enemies that hit harder than that. But yeah.
Well, I think part of that was the difficulty you were playing on too.
Okay. Also, I talked about it earlier, but I want to talk about the chapter system of this game. It's so fucking weird. Like Devil May Cry, I understand it. You get through the level, you get to a new chapter, you get the whole stat screen with the ranks and all that. That makes sense. Sonic Adventure 2 works the same way, right? But then you get like a cutscene. Then you get something that propels the story forward or like puts the character into a different position so that you're not just starting where you left off, right? Imagine doing City Escape in Sonic Adventure 2 and then you did the whole rank screen and then it just starts you right there. That's what this game fucking does. Like I just remember getting through the fucking pumpkin patch area that we were talking about earlier. Like at first you can't get through because enemies will spawn forever. But after that stops. You'll get through it. You'll get to a bridge. It'll bring up the stat screen. It'll do the whole thing. The next chapter will start. You're just at that bridge again. There was no reason to have that. Like it's so fucking weird. It's like again, it's like they had a beta. They had it to a point where they were able to go from start to finish, and then they were just like, we'll polish up a little bit. It's fine.
I bet it was a licensing thing too. Like we have to get this out by a certain time, and
You have to get it out by October, Halloween, Christmas.
I'm sure that didn't help the situation with this game.
Yeah, they also probably made it's one of those things like probably Devil May Cry or the other Resident Evil games where they probably made this in like a year, like exactly a year.
And like I'm not gonna say I'm the biggest Devil May Cry fan, but I do love the DMC reboot. That game plays so well.
I like that game too.
I too also like that game.
It plays so nicely.
Keeps hiccuping.
The DMC reboot.
Oh yeah, the reboot. I've even played that a little bit. It was fine.
It's a good game. The
it
only
flows
issues it
very
has
well.
are it does have its issues, but
yes,
it's a good game.
But like coming back from that to this, because I'm not the biggest Devil May Cry fan in the world, but going from that to this is just like holy shit. What? Why? Capcom had experience at this point. They should have known better.
Well, it was probably given to a side team, and that's usually what it is.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
You can tell. You can tell.
They went to a company that had never done it before, despite being a company that has done it before.
I was gonna say, is there other commonly known Tosei games like that were made almost exclusively by Tosei that are good?
I mean, they're known for the Game & Watch series, like the Game Boy Game & Watch collections. The only franchise that they have any stake in is the Starfy series.
Is the what series?
The legendary Starfy.
I do not know that series.
That sounds vaguely familiar.
It's mostly Japan only, except we got one of the DS games.
Oh,
It's a Nintendo
yeah.
franchise.
Okay. DS is one of my like big holes in my life.
Yeah, I've seen this cute little star in different little nuggets here and there. Yeah, cute little star guy.
So that is the only franchise they own any ownership in.
Okay.
It seems like they get one every now and then. This one, I think, was like, we need to give you guys some time. We gotta let you cook a little more. This wasn't it.
Oh yeah, they made that one game that I really want to play.
What's that?
Super Princess Peach.
Oh, I want to play that too for this.
Oh gosh, I am excited for that. Yeah, huh.
Oh, so they did. Interesting. Yeah, they're credited for Ragnarok DS, the Joker game, the Dragon Quest Monsters Joker games.
Oh, I know. Okay.
They made Metal Gear Ghost Babel.
I like that game a lot.
Did you say Metal Gear Ghost Battle?
It's a Game Boy Color game.
The Metal Gear Solid for Game Boy Color one.
Yes.
Never heard of
Good
this. Huh. Oh, it looks very much like
It's
like
a
a
very
older
good
one.
game. It's on this podcast, episode 7. I don't know if you should listen to that, but it is on this podcast.
Yeah, they've done a lot of work with a lot of games over the years.
Yeah,
They just did the Dark Prince, the latest Dragon Quest Monsters game that just came out.
yeah. That's why I was like, I know they've done work with it, but that's why I was wondering, like, ones they really like, yeah, it's all us, baby, and it's like, but at least the other ones, there's a few there that are like, they seem fine. This game is an enigma.
And you are a company that knows how to make this type of game, giving it to a developer that does not.
Yeah.
And like, that we see that now with like Naughty Dog canceling the Last of Us online game because they're not a live service cup developer. They make single player games. It would be silly to throw all of that away to make one live service game.
Live service games.
Very not surprisingly, the reception for this was anywhere from like 5 to 6s. Except for one exception. The Times gave it 5 stars. Don't know why. That's a wild one. I was just like, all right, Times, you go back to the drawing board on that one, but I don't know what you're doing over there, but okay.
Okay.
Would love to know. I want to see if I can read that review.
Captured the element of the movie, and I got to hear the songs over and over and over again. It was great.
Archive.org has it.
Yep, they do.
Yeah, it's probably one of the goofy things where they're like, they probably went up to the company and were like, all right, who really, really likes Nightmare Before Christmas? It's kind of like how when like
it's like 3 paragraphs.
Yeah, it's a baby review. And even then,
here's the last paragraph.
Yeah, please go ahead.
This adventure looks great. Its landscape dominated by crooked buildings and brooding gray skies. Navigating Jack is simple, and the characters are all well realized. A perfect children's game. Tim Wapshot.
Oh, Tim.
This is not a perfect children's game.
those sure are words.
Hey, Tim Wapshot would disagree, sir.
Also, he mentions that there are over 25 levels, so I guess he must have played all the secret ones too.
I mean, 3 paragraphs. I think he may have just read something. He may have played a little bit, read some things on the internet for, that'd be a Tim Wapshot. As I've Googled it, doesn't look like a man who's deep in the pain of video games. Not to judge a book by its cover, but
you're acting like he didn't spend hours just grinding away at this gem of a game, a hidden gem.
I mean,
I don't think it's a hidden gem, but
only crazy people will do that.
only people that I mean, if you love Nightmare Before Christmas, this is a good game.
no,
You just want more of that.
no.
Maybe not. Okay. You just, it's your only option. How's that?
I feel like if I played through this entire game, it would have left a permanent scar in my brain about this series, this media, and I would have anytime my partner went to play KH, I would have been like, oh god, no, the flashbacks.
Let's talk about the opening of this game too, because that itself is weird.
It is weird.
Oh yeah,
because he's like Halloween's dull and stuff. I want to go find new ways to make Halloween, and it's like I think Halloween had just happened or something like that. He got something. He gets an award for doing so well. So he's like, yeah, I'm gonna go away for a while.
Great. Yeah.
He literally just leaves for 2 months. We don't know where he's gone. He just is gone. Oogie is taken over the town, and then he just comes back on December 23rd, and oops, everything's fucked up.
Yeah, I think the plot is so simplistic and silly. We didn't really talk about it, but that's a lot of it. The only other 2 nuggets I can think of is when he's going to leave, the doctor goes, "Hey, Jack, I made you this globby goo thing to protect yourself while you're out in the bucks of wherever you're going." I was like, okay, sure. But then also the town's response. I think he's gone for. Is it? I don't. You might be
a year.
It's 2 months.
I thought it was a year because I thought it was Jack came back and he's like, hey, we prepped. The town's response to him leaving outside of missing him, which they say in several little spots, is like, hey, we booby trapped the town because we thought it would be fun. And
maybe it is a year, but
yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's just 2 months.
So that's the thing is Oogie Boogie does take over, but that's not why they booby trap the town. They booby trap the town because towns are like, that's how we spice up the Halloween. And I was like, this is a wild take, y'all. This plot is, and then Sally gets abducted. That was the nice little plot. And
then she sends magical paper airplanes to find Jack.
That's a weird way of, okay, sure. Yeah, that's definitely a thing from the movie that we're sourcing. It's not just a wild idea. Yeah, I feel like if you like this series a lot, you should read about it, maybe watch some of the boss fights for the fun, musical lyrics, and that's it.
I mean, the 7 Holidays King does not have the same ring to it that the Pumpkin King does. Because that's Oogie's ultimate objective, is to be the 7 Holidays King.
Yeah. You get the song that. Well, yeah, you missed it, Bill. You missed the song that never ends, where especially when you keep dying and you get to hear, "You'll never be the Holiday King, okay?" And then it just keeps, and then you die, and then it just replays again.
Because the intro and his ghost, the way he's talking about, they're just arguing about him taking over the town. They don't talk anything about being the Holiday King, which makes sense with the plot of you guys.
That's where he's going later. That's what you find out.
Yeah, he's kidnapped all the leaders. Because, of course.
Wait, he kidnaps all the leaders?
Yeah, they're all in cages, but you can't go to any of their worlds except for the Santa Claus.
Who are the leaders of?
They're conspicuously in bags that you cannot see their faces.
No, damn it. No, that would have been
I guess Uncle Sam, a giant turkey.
The Easter Bunny is shown in the movie, I believe.
Yes.
They've just shown that one.
A lot of them are pretty basic, what you would think. But Independence Day is the big one. I'm like, who you got to put? I feel like Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam is the go-to. Yeah. I honestly would think maybe that could be another element, is that they had ideas like that for this game of we could go to the other places. And I could see Disney being like, no, that's not happening.
I also find it surprising that Disney has never revisited this franchise.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
I mean, Kingdom Hearts was doing it. They had 2 of these games.
Yeah,
I'm surprised we didn't get a weird half-assed remake, like Skyrim remake, and then they just release it oh yeah, it's now on the Switch, and
yeah, I can see that.
I mean, just people love this franchise. You go to Hot Topic, you go almost anywhere, and you will see Nightmare Before Christmas. And every time I look at my wife and go, I am so happy you're not into this franchise, because she's into Labyrinth a lot, Dark Crystal, some of her favorite. There's not as much merchandise, but Nightmare Before Christmas, there's merchandise everywhere. I'm just so happy every time.
I thought your wife was in the Nightmare Before Christmas.
Not really. She likes the movie kind of, but she's not it's not something that she wants to buy the Funko Pops of. And we have 1 Funko Pop of Nightmare Before Christmas, but we have 6 Funko Pops of Yu Hakusho. So, and there's a lot more Nightmare Before Christmas. And just to give you an example.
Yeah, it just seems like for all the anniversaries of the movie, they just do a new Blu-ray or 4K or something.
Yeah. I mean, it would be nice to see this game get just re-released so people could experience it who won't do what I do, so.
I mean, they put out the fucking Star Wars games again, except for episode 3 of the game, but
I do want to play that someday. I've heard good things.
It's fine. It is fine.
I at some point I might have to dig into that. We'll see. Too many games.
Looking at the wiki here, there's of course an S rank. I cannot imagine what you have to do to get a fucking S rank in this game.
I got an S here and there on a couple things.
Well, yeah, you get a couple for doing like really good combos, but like to get an overall chapter rank of S,
Cheat.
Yeah. And what was the point of the exclamation? Like, I always hated every time you finish it goes time combo. They go exclamation points count. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's like whenever you spook them, they do the Metal Gear exclamation point thing.
Oh,
I had no idea where that was coming from. I'm like, what is this bullshit?
So that's where the Santa stuff really comes in handy because you spook them.
Oh,
but you can also just do it by attacking them at the right time. Sometimes it's very unclear.
Okay, I never cared enough. I did get lost multiple times in this game. Like one point, we got to find the 4 vampire bats. I got lost in that part too. Apparently, I'm not the only
that
one.
level too.
That level's hard. I got lost multiple times. I just remember like my wife was watching Medium, and I would sitting there just playing this on the Steam Deck, watching TV with her, sort of, just trying to figure out what the fuck to do sometimes.
Yeah, Joe, Milk, like the level where you're finding the hanging mans for the tree. Mm-hmm. There's a level you got to find vampire bats around the town, or a different part of town. And there's no, again, for me, there was no real indication of where they were. They said there was like some kind of riddle or something to read. I never found that.
Oh, you have to go in a room. If you don't go in the room, I don't think the bats spawn.
But like, I think you only see the riddle once because I don't think I absorbed what it was saying.
Oh, I didn't absorb the riddle either. Well, I cheated, so it didn't matter.
So then it's just like, okay, you just got to wander around this surprisingly large part of the game to just find out what rooms they're going to be spawning in.
I like when we do this podcast, I like to sometimes come up with little tagline reviews in my head. And this one is, it's unclear. That's it for this whole game. It's unclear.
That is. Mike, do you remember the part in this very level where they have that thing just popping out of the goop? It's like there's a part where you have a bunch of little grapple points that you can grapple around because you have to get up on top of it, go to the roof section. But there's just like this random monster that's in this green slime that'll just pop up and like attack you, and you can't do anything to it. It's just there.
No, I don't remember him. Either I didn't see him or I erased it from my memory, which
you must have erased it from memory because
to be fair, probably happened because I beat this game a couple weeks ago and I have played multiple games since then.
Sure, but
it's just also you've had that happen like 3 times where it's like, oh yeah, that did happen, and I feel like you guys are blocking things out unconsciously from this experience.
I mean, it's completely possible, to be honest.
There's just so much, and I played it over the course of this last week.
It's just I just can't believe this game is what it is still.
I just find it hilarious that you had all like this love for this game, and then you're just like,
it wasn't love, it was hope, because I didn't get to go through it, and I was like, yeah, I get to revisit it and really do it.
You and Princess Leia both have hope.
Yeah, it took a lot farther than it took me. I'll tell you that right now.
And the nice thing is that the cast is here, right? Oogie Boogie is the same guy. You know, the Lock, Shock, and Barrel, the same voice actor. So it's nice to hear like the people that Tim Burton works with back, except for Danny Elfman.
And they got paid.
I don't know how much new dialogue there really was. I mean, the cutscenes, I guess, but if they're already repurposing some stuff from the movie, I don't know. But yeah,
you get something because that's one of the reasons why the licensing issues are so bad too.
Sure, yeah.
I think I'm assuming. I don't know. I don't work in that field or anything, but I'm assuming that has to play a part in it to why like it is so hard to re-release a licensed game.
Yeah, there's a lot of extra like contracts and shit you probably have to sift through and figure out, okay, how can we re-release it? Is this a Disney thing? Is this a Capcom thing? Because Buena Vista published it in North America, Capcom published it everywhere else.
Yeah, Capcom's name is not even on the US version.
It is.
Except it is. If you open the game, it totally is. It's just like Capcom is credited as the developer because Tosei, of course, does not like to be credited as developer.
That just seems weird.
I don't understand that, but that's their thing.
Okay.
I mean,
some games I understand you don't want to be associated with, but this wasn't that bad.
I mean, for me, it would be. Like, There was a part of me last night, and I thought it was due to sleep, where I was like, man, I really don't know if I want to go do this podcast, but I'm a little nervous, and I was like, maybe that's what it was. Not like, literally not because of you, literally just because I hadn't gotten as far in this game as I wanted, but I'm starting to think, like, no, maybe it's just because it was like, this game is something else, and I was just like, a stain. I'm like, I never played that, no way.
I mean, that reminds me of, again, like the Dragon Ball game. I was ready to just like, I'm sorry, Mike, I didn't get very far. I don't have to be here if you don't want me here. And Mike was like, nah, just come on. We'll talk about it. It's fine.
There's definitely enough. It's early on where I was like, yeah, I have some things to say. And then that's about it. But, as I said sort of at the start, I was like, I felt like, I said this before we started recording, I was like, I don't know, I felt like there were forces that were holding me back. I think that's true for when I was a kid. I don't remember why that disc got scratched, but I think some mystical force in this universe is trying to protect me. Like, don't do it. It's not what you think it'll be. Run away. Go play Devil May Cry.
I feel like as a kid, especially if you weren't playing on hard yet, you wouldn't have noticed or hadn't. I mean, some of the issues wouldn't have been as big of an issue in 2005. Especially you don't have any games.
I want to meet the kids that had to play this game. I want to just know how it was.
I mean, hey, according to Tim Wapshot, this game is great for kids.
I mean, this game is less challenging than some Disney games that I played. Yes,
sure,
but
I can imagine playing this as a child. I can imagine playing this in like probably 2007 is probably when I would have found it.
Oh yeah, renting it, like maybe thinking, oh, it'll be a nice time. Something.
I can just see myself being like, oh my god, I got through like a level or two and I'm done.
Yeah, it's very much one of those games you rent and you play it for like a day. Maybe like it's my thing. You'd rent like 3 games, and this is the one I'd be like, I play a little bit like, well, this one was a miss. You just chalk it up to bad and you set it down. And you hope the other ones are better and get you through your 5-day period.
Like I remember, I originally put Kingdom Hearts down the first time I played it because I got stuck in Halloween Town.
So there was some trauma there when you went back to Halloween Town, huh?
But fuck, when I replayed it, it was fine. But like, I just know as at that point in my life, I would not have been happy.
Yeah.
I also know I never want to see Halloween Town in a game again. I know I will, unfortunately.
One more time. Rip GBA.
Yeah,
I was so happy. The next game we're going to talk about next week had nothing to do with Halloween Town. I was so happy.
No, it's twice, Dominic.
Oh, Dream Job also?
More? No, I'm not 100% sure, but besides Recoded, I want to say Melody of Memories, you might have to do.
Oh, yeah.
Halloween Town beat the Guitar Hero.
But you see, by the time we get to that game, it will probably be 2025, so I'll be less irritated with Halloween Town. So
yeah, you need a year to cool off.
We'll play the GBA game and it'll stoke everything up again. And you're like, fuck, I gotta play Melody of Memory now. God damn it.
You're probably not that wrong, because I think that game's gonna happen because one, why not? And two, I'm actually curious about that. I like Metrovanias, and I like licensed Metrovania games. It's interesting what they do sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just want to hear all those 16-bit renditions of these very songs we've heard again and again.
Without lyrics, they probably won't be so bad.
No, of course not. That's the biggest problem.
I mean, I enjoyed the beat. The problem was having to hear, this is Halloween, ha, 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 ha. That's what got me. I could handle just a...
Yeah, it's so strange that they just play the whole song. Like, even in Christmas Town, they'll play What's This? And it's like, oh, all right, sure.
Oh, wait, for the combat?
No, that's just the town
you're just
music.
in the map, running around.
You're running around and it's just playing it with the lyric?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the issue. I like, but you have to save it. Like, you want it to be you want it to just be special moments when you have lyrics. You don't want it to be every song in a game. It just doesn't work.
No,
Again, Kingdom Hearts did it right.
Yeah.
Yes, I can't think of the song all of a sudden. Even though I just heard it not that long ago when I beat Birth by Sleep, but I can't think of how the song or anything.
This game, it just like I felt like one element of this game when they were coming. I was like, well, we got these absolute bangers that everybody loves. Just put them in raw, unchanged forever, and then it won't be. They'll love it. It won't go bad.
The other game's doing the instrumental versions. We can't do that.
That makes too much sense.
Yeah, we can't have the same track that Kingdom Hearts has. That'd be too confusing.
That's the part that like it just feels weird to think of. My experience with Kingdom Hearts is like for what it is, it's really great, and it knows what it wants to be. Especially after getting into like 2. It was like, all right, this is what we're going to be. And it has Halloween Town. So I think of Halloween Town and this very, like, intentionalized, arguably, pretty fun, at least in certain ways, format, and then it's right alongside this, and it's just like words of another old time content creator, like a turd sandwich, which is like, well, no, please get this out of here. This gotta go back. Go back in time and let it cook for maybe a few more years, please.
Interestingly enough, the GBA game was published by D3 Publisher in Japan. Capcom does not seem involved at all, though Tosei is still there.
Second
And D3
chance
Publisher, D3 Publisher is of course known as a budget publisher.
Oh no.
Have you guys ever looked at any gameplay or anything for that?
No,
A little, yes.
I played it.
Oh yeah, Joe, you said that. That's right.
Yeah.
Back
Like
in
I
the
said,
day, or
Yes, very much back in the day. Like I
Okay.
played this game when it came out because I got it for Christmas.
I'm not gonna spoil myself too much, but just clicking through, it's like, yeah, it looks like a Game Boy sort of adventure action, like side scroller actiony game.
Yeah, it's also a prequel because, like I said, they had
the
this weird-
movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to the movie. They
this is a
they-
sequel to the
Yeah.
movie, then that's a prequel.
That's such a wild thing too. Is like, because this is, in terms of the original media, unless you want to count Kingdom Hearts, is because of that's like weird side stuff. But like, you have the movie and that's it, and then you have these two games that technically add more lore and plot, and it's like, I think real stans would be like, oh, I want to know it. It's like, okay, it's fine, don't play it, just go read about it. That's enough. You'll have way more
It was
fun.
the age of transmedia properties, or you had to go through multiple mediums to experience the whole story.
Oh,
I mean, that's why I didn't experience Kingdom Hearts until like a year. We just started recently. That's why I never experienced it before. 'Cause once it went away from PS2, it lost me. So
And like, I mean,
many
and,
people like.
and ironically enough, The Matrix was the franchise that popularized that idea because
What? Were those games like that?
the Enter the Matrix was very much a part of the story.
But it was like different.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was like a side story, but it was still
Well, you
very
had-
much a part of it.
You had the Animatrix also. Like, yeah, I mean, it was trying.
Yeah, the
you know,
Animatrix was
Oh,
another thing.
Yeah. That one I do know. That's fair.
Then the Path of Neo, the Matrix Online was a whole thing.
Oh God, I feel like that lore and that sort of universe, it lends itself up to do that a little bit more easily, or more like I could see where they're going with that. But yeah, that's fair.
So this was that era. This was that time. Everyone was doing it, just like everyone was doing live service games.
Completely unrelated, but I think it's totally worth seeing for anyone who doesn't know. You guys ever see what it looked like when they shut the Matrix Online servers down?
No.
Oh, it's
Yes.
horrifying. It's horrifying. And you should Google it. They crumple up your character like paper and they scream. So there was like typical MMOs where like you'd have like gathering parties for the few people who were still around. And so you'd suddenly just have a hub area where like there's the trading post and like all 30 people just vibing. And then suddenly everyone just starts crumpling up like paper and screaming. And then they just shut the service down.
What the fuck?
And that wasn't like a common animation or death animation. It was like something, I think, as far as I know, they made for that. And I was like, whoa, it's Willy's. It's very Willy inducing.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. I never played that. All right. Any other things you guys want to say about Nightmare Before Christmas before we go on to questions, comments, or memories? I have a couple. I don't have a
Dominic.
ton.
This could be your last chance to get anything off. I don't feel like if you go to anyone else in this planet and go, I need to complain about something about the Kingdom Hearts game, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, I want to hear that.
No, actually, my coworkers are very familiar with this game because they had a friend who's very much into Nightmare Before Christmas, and they were also disappointed by this game as a kid.
Oh, thank goodness. I'm glad you have another place you can go if anything else pops up.
And from their words, they just remember the game. Like apparently, their friend, who again special interest is Nightmare Before Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
That friend was like, "Oh, the game just gets unplayable after a while because it's just so dull."
Yep. Yeah, that's also a good tagline. It's so dull. Okay.
And those spider bosses were fine. The boss
Yeah.
fights were probably the best part. The dance battles were fine. The brain boss fight was interesting, but then fuck the lock, shock, and barrel ones. Fuck the other ones you had to repeat over and over. Fuck those fire and ice ogres. Holy shit.
Yeah. Also, I want to say that, but my internet was glitching out. When you just said there's ogres in this, I looked it up at some point. I was like, okay, that's what he means by ogres. But I'm like, it's wild to go, Nightmare Before Christmas? Ogres. I'm like, no, that's not. Those aren't hand in hand. That's peanut butter and
Shrek was
meat.
popular.
Hey, fam. It's okay.
Oogie's got to have new enemies here and there.
Yeah,
And
ogres.
it's like, after seeing all the characters that exist in this game, I'm not even convinced that they were all made for the movie originally.
No, I think they just took some of the designs and just went with it.
That was a thing that my brother did like a lot when I was a kid, and we had like this whole mantle set for the holidays. A lot of the characters that are in this game, I vaguely remember were like, they were probably like little snippets in the movie, but they did have them. They had like individual like merchandise that had a lot of these characters because like there's big stands even then. But yeah, it was kind of neat to see those characters because like we had mantelpieces of like a character in the movie that maybe has a line, and then it's like, whoa, he actually is like exists and he has a personality in this. Weird.
It's very weird that the 3 hides is your save point.
Oh yeah. Can we talk about the fact that you can't? There's no way to skip dialogue, right?
You can. You can be through it sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes, but
I know I did.
With him, can you? Because I felt like I kept trying.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Early
I thought
on,
it was funny though when he's like, "You should save, or you'll have to do it all over again."
Yeah, that was a cute little moment when they had the hats and they're like, "You got to save, or else you'll do it again," and that sucked. And I was like, "All right, this is cute. This gets."
I never heard the last guy say that sucks. I always skipped it.
He said
he didn't say it.
I don't. He doesn't. He said something. Just the 3 voices of it being like blah 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 blah. And I was like, okay, that's a cute little moment, but not enough.
But then
not
he runs
enough.
away when there's combat.
Oh yeah, he has a line about it too. He's like, by the way, if I'm ever missing, it's probably because there's some fucking scary fight going on, and I was like, getting out of town, and I'm like, all right.
It's like you see him do it sometimes. It's so funny.
Yeah, it's true. I've seen him run back. He's like, "Oh, I'm coming back." He's so slow when he's coming back. I'm like, "Oh, please hurry, boy."
But again, it's just random save points you gotta find. There's no save, just random saves for you. It's all dependent on what that man is able to do, or those 3 men.
This 30 little man hanging out.
Another just weird thing about the fucking game. The nice thing is that it all interconnects. They thought I had to at least make it all interconnect.
What do you mean by that?
When you go off and do the different levels, you will eventually wind up back in the hub world.
Oh, you don't have to like backtrack to like get back to hub world a bunch. It's not like random little path. Okay.
It'll be like, oh, this well that's in the town is now gonna take you there, or
that is
this fence or this door is now unlocked.
Well, little nice nuggets throughout. Not enough. They're not big, but they're there.
The hub world people had it together. The dance battle people needed a little bit more time, but had a good idea. Some of the boss fights were made by somebody who had some cool things going on. But then, like, the rest of the team was trying their best, I guess.
The basic elements of, well, what is combat going to feel
game?
like? Yeah, the video game. What does combat feel like? 2 hits and a grab. That's all you need.
I do want to talk to the combat person. They'll be like, did you really just gather from Devil May Cry that people like doing 2-hit combos?
Yeah.
I don't mind starting with a 2-hit combo, but I mind the part where I don't get anything else as the game progresses.
If the alternative costumes or alternative forms are markedly worse than the default form,
you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on to questions, comments, or memories from the official Laser Time. I didn't get much, but from the official Laser Time community from Lee Tran. This is one of the most underrated licensed games of all time. Prime example of a fantastic 7 out of 10 game. It's honestly impressive how much effort and fan service they put into this game. It's a bit jank. The combat is serviceable, if a bit shallow. The music sections aren't as tight as they could be, and the game is literally baby's first Devil May Cry.
No.
But it more than makes up for it in a sheer fan service and love the developers have for the movie. The fact that they did music sections at all that capture the spirit of the movie, even going so far as writing their own brand new song for Dr. Finkelstein. The visuals are also utterly fantastic and perfectly capture the aesthetic of this movie. It's a good game on its own, and to elevate it even further if you love the movie. The game is a decent blend action-adventure that constantly mixes things up. There's a ton of unlockable costumes and trophies. I loved this game when I was younger and has a special place in my heart.
Are there a ton of unlockable costumes?
I don't know.
I didn't try to find out.
I'm starting to wonder what's in those bonus levels, like what you get. Sounds
Hell, why don't you find out, Milk? Just play the game until you hate life.
If I ever get 1,000 subscribers
my understanding
on Twitch, I will put myself through hell and do it on hard just for you. Okay, there you go.
The first secret level is Sally wants to make some kind of like nightshade potion or something, some sleeping potion, whatever. So you gotta go find the ingredients, and then you fight Lock, Shock, and Barrel again. I read that. I'm like, fuck doing that. The other one is that Dr. Finkelstein's assistant Igor. His biscuit was stolen, so you gotta go down the sewers and find it and fight a spider.
The person who left that comment, I do totally agree a little bit with the fan serviciness. Like, I think for adding new stuff and new like song lyrics, it's pretty solid. Everything else,
that works.
Disagree with respectfully.
I mean, I'm just glad that hey, we found somebody who enjoyed this game as a kid, and the game meant a lot to them. And there's nothing wrong with it. There's games that I like that other people would think are trash, and might not agree with them. But hey, like I'm glad I found somebody that found my post and was like, hey, I like this game. And then another one from Jonathan Navarro. I was pleasantly surprised the rhythm game combat sections. Okay.
Yep.
From Giant Bomb, from Mason Luxembourg. I remember seeing the X-Play review for this game in 2004. Right.
Well, I'm sure that's a interesting review to go back to.
And that's all I got. I posted in 2 other groups, but they didn't comment. But they liked my post.
I did specifically. I was scrolling through Facebook one day, and I saw you posting it. Wasn't it just a Nightmare Before Christmas fan group?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that, and I think it was still fresh, but there was no comments, and I was like, man, Mike, I wonder if Mike's digging deep. I feel like no, they posting in the comment places, and I was like, I wonder if he's just not getting any hits.
I also try to post in groups when I can because 1, it gives me an excuse to post in said group, and 2, the hope is always that somebody who will see this post will comment or will be like, "Hey, I'm going to check out this podcast now," and that's the goal of it. To be honest, like
it's a smart idea. I bet the first person. Are they going to check? I could see them listen to this. Also, could you imagine the heartbreak? You leave a comment like that, you're like, "Oh, I can't wait to listen to these other people talk about how much they like it," and it's just 2 hours of like, I can't believe I did this.
I mean, we did a lot of bitching, but
yeah.
Before we go into Shelf Stacker Box, I want to give away a Steam code. This will be the code for Hot Shot Racing. I have no idea what this is, but this is your Steam code for Hot Shot Racing. WE2Q3 2CD5GQJBQ6. That is your code for Hot Shot Racing, whatever that is.
Oh, it's just a cute little, like, kind of cell shady little racing game.
Okay, cool. I like to give, I have extra codes, so I just started giving away every regular episode you get a code.
Yeah, I was just like looking it up because often there are games like you say like I don't know what this is, and I'm like I don't either. I look it up, I'm like okay, that's what it is. A little action indie racing game. Neat.
Yeah, and then let's go to Shelf Stacker Box, and we'll start with some positive first. I'll go first. I'm gonna put this in the stack. I didn't hate it, I didn't love it, but it was a Devil May Cry clone. I played it over the course of I think I beat this game in 3 or 4 days, and I had a decent time. It got me into the Christmas Halloween spirit of Christmas, and yeah, I don't think I'll never play it again, but I'm glad I finally played this damn game, and I don't ever need to touch it, but it's going to the stack because I didn't hate it. So, and what about you, Joe?
I also agree with you, Mr. Mike Albertin. I don't think that this game is good or bad, but I had an okay time playing it, and I probably would have gone through it if I had actually had the time and the momentum to. So I'll probably just put it in the stack because I definitely would never play this again after I beat it.
I mean, to be fair, I don't play most games after I beat them, but I have gone back, so, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
All right, and what about you, Milk?
Since a child, it's been on my shelf. I think I'd keep it there. I think there's a little joy nugget of looking at it and going, wow, that's a really bad game. And, I'm not going to keep it there so I have quick access to it. It's just to put it on a little pedestal to look at and go, that was a game. And it's lived there since I was, 12 on a shelf. So I'm like, why take it off now? So it's going to live on the shelf, but not for good reasons.
And what about you, Dominic?
Mike, remind me again. What are the parameters for Shelf Stacker Box? What does each category mean?
To be fair, almost whatever you want it to mean. I mean, shelf is something that you loved and really like. Usually stack is something that the idea of originally stack with that's something you want to go back to and play again, or something that you liked but didn't love, I guess. And then box is anything you disliked.
Is there an option to set things on fire?
Hey, you want to throw it in the box and light that box fire? You go right ahead.
Oh shit! Hey, Dominic, I'm sorry. You're actually out of fire energy. You have to go back to the store to get some more.
Granted, I didn't hate it enough to stop playing, right? So there's at least that.
I was very curious. You're like, I kept almost not finishing. And I was like, you just kept going. What was in you that made that push?
Because I'm like, it can't be that much harder. It can't be that much worse. It can't be, I've got to get through this. It can't be impossible for me. Not this game. Right? That's what it came down to, was kind of spite. And again, I'd give it a 3 or 4 out of 10. So it's not the worst thing I've ever played, but certainly belongs in the box. It's still probably the worst game I've completed for this podcast. And I've played other games like Cameo that I enjoyed more. And that's a shallow-ass game itself. Also from 2005. Graffiti Kingdom, another game from 2005, was a better game.
Which game?
Graffiti Kingdom, the sequel to Magic Penguin.
You were on that too, weren't you? Were you on
I was.
Okay, sorry, I cannot remember.
I would have been shocked if you were like, nah, I just played that on my own volition, just for funsies. This also looks cute.
It's a cute game. Listen to the episode 2, please. Please. It needs more time. But no, it's a decent game.
Graffiti Kingdom was very cute.
It also is its, original idea. Like, I mean, I think that's a whole nugget here is like, this is based off of existing property, which I think has its own challenges, but also benefits. But like, not like Graffiti Kingdom where it's like, oh, we're coming at everything up off the dome. So, could have been executed so much better.
People could have been executed so much better.
What was your ranking?
Fair.
I didn't catch it.
Oh yeah, what was Dominic said
Me?
fire?
Box.
Yeah.
Box. Front fire.
Hey, that's completely fine. I mean, we've had that before. I mean, there are things people hate. There are games that I hated too on this podcast that have stressed me the fuck out when I played through them. I mean, hey, one involved running around a mall where I had to cheat and have a level 50 save because I didn't feel comfortable playing the game otherwise. So hey, things happen.
You said earlier, like, there's games from people's childhood that they love that other people don't like, and for about 2 seconds I went, do I have those? I don't think. I was like, oh wait, Dead Rising. With this person right here. Never mind.
This person hates Dead Rising.
But you and many other people, to be fair. I don't think I'm the majority for sure.
And I should introduce what we're talking about next week. Next week, we return back to the Kingdom Hearts franchise, and we're going to be talking about Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep.
Two of us will be there.
Yeah, this is a two-parter for us.
I'm excited to go back. Well, I'm excited to talk about that. I'm excited to talk about that game.
Or Joe, are you 3 in a row this time?
That is 3 in a row now because I did yesterday, today, and next week.
Whoa.
He means your regular episodes. But were you on last week? What the hell was last week?
No, I was on.
Well, you were on Brotherhood, yeah.
Oh yeah, I was on Brotherhood. Yeah, so I'm going 4 for 4 then because I was also I was on Heavy Rain yesterday.
What was the other one you did as well?
Heavy Rain.
You said there was another one that wasn't a main episode.
Oh, what are you playing?
Gotcha.
He did 3 recordings. Both him and Milk did 3 recordings with me this weekend because somebody didn't keep track of what he was scheduling and who he was having on.
In case I don't know how far you guys are through that Birth by Sleep, but just as a little helpful heads up, there is no Halloween Town in that game. So
I
Thank God.
You can breathe easy.
I already beat it.
There is a Disney Town, which I think is neat, but anyway.
Yeah.
Have you seen the ultra secret last level of Birth by Sleep?
I have to at some point.
The level 99 Aqua final mission.
What the fuck?
Yeah. I posted it in our chat like way back when I finished the game.
Yeah, I need to go look for that because I need to remind Mike to watch that before we do the episode.
Yeah, please. Let's tell me about it more after because I'm curious. But yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if it's just for the PS4 version, but it must be somewhere else too.
Yeah, it's just the PS4, I think. The remix added stuff. Oh, right. And Dominic, where can people find you at?
You can find me on the Overloaded Facebook group if you go there. I'm also on the Dissonant Waves podcast on YouTube and hopefully in the new year, other places as well.
All right. And Milk.
You could find me on Twitch at Space Milk Cutie if I'm actually doing anything there. I live there. Sometimes I'm there. Most of the time I'm not.
Streaming this game to completion. 100%.
Yeah. 1,000 subs. I'm going to put that on my my sub goal list.
Don't do that.
Followers.
Don't do that.
Oh, I'm gonna. If I ever get 1,000 followers, I need something to be like, that's never going to happen. And then you just hit it. And then I'll be crying the whole time.
And you'll be doing it for a year.
Oh, God. I don't want to think about that because it won't happen. So it's fine. It's fine.
All right. And if you enjoyed this episode, there's over 550 other episodes of this podcast. You can listen to us. We do games, movies, comics, anything. Type it in. You go on Podbean, you just type in something, and you never know what will come up. We type in Star Wars, type in Kingdom Hearts. You will find stuff. Type in
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
Type in Wes Craven's New Nightmare. You'll find the episode.
Yeah, that too. We do lots of stuff. So, all right, you want to support the show for a little dollar, you can vote in our Patreon poll. We have one every month, so you will see a link in the show notes to that. It helps us out a ton, so please go do that and support the show. And you get to vote in polls that affect the show every month, so go do that. And want to give a shout out to my awesome intro and outro courtesy of Helena at Hell Has Fury. You can follow her on Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. You will see a link in the show notes to her link tree, so definitely go check her out. I also want to give a shout out to my buddy Bill Tucker, did the MCU movies with me. He's on this podcast quite often. He started his own podcast, Gamer Looks at 40, like 2 years ago. Definitely go check him out. He's on hiatus right now, but definitely go support him anyway. Listen to his content. And I want to give a shout out to Nomads of Fantasy, another podcast that I work with. That also shouts us out. That's why. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, Blue Sky, TikTok, Squirrel videos, and YouTube, audio only, but we are at all those things. So and that's everything I need to say. So we will see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.